And we're especially happy for our US men and women because at the same time, both men and women just, they went lights out.
They did.
They went lights out and they captured the heart of everybody in the world.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to season 2 of Flipping Out with Bridget Sloan, the Olympic special. I am your host, Bridget Sloan, and I will be joined each week by the one, the only, the legend herself, Miss Kathy Johnson-Clark. We will be talking all things elite gymnastics and the Olympics. And for today's episode, we are talking about the Olympic team finals for both the men and women, because the men took home the bronze medal and the women took home the gold. We've got lots to discuss. Let's get into it. Well, Kathy, we are here for another amazing episode. And I must say, there has been a lot happening in the last 24. I feel like the last 24 hours has been a lot of stress for a lot of people, but also some of the most magical moments have happened for men's gymnastics and then women's gymnastics. But we're going to start with the men first because just wow. I think that's what comes to mind when I think of the USA men's team, because they are Olympic bronze medalists. They won the bronze medal.
Yes, they won the bronze medal. And think back to our preview. Okay, so the thing that I said about this competition, for the US men especially, this is a team with a makeup that they had to be flawless.
Yeah.
To win a medal. Not because they aren't brilliant and all this, but you have to look at the numbers. You have to look at the potential high score. What's the highest they can get? Because you can't go higher than your start value, which is determined by your D score. So that's the max. So knowing that this team, that was one of the dynamics, they were going to have to be flawless. And they were going to have to count on a specialist on the pommel horse. One event. And as it turned out, because somebody wrote a hell of a script for this.
Oh, no kidding. Right?
That they were going to have to end on pommel horse. And that pommel horse specialist was going to have to run in the back to a phone booth, change into his super, hero costume, his Batman or Superman or whatever, whoever changed in the phone booth, and fly into the arena and into America's, if not the world's heart, taking off those glasses and going. So anyways, jumping forward, but then Japan and China. I mean,
I was
the way we talked about
away. 100%. I was blown away by what Team Japan and Team China were able to accomplish. And again, like you said, we did say first and second, gold and silver, it is going to be down to Japan and China.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing that I want to talk about first, though, is just a little bit of qualifications, because qualifications was really rocky for Team USA, for the men. It was, maybe rocky is not the right word, but there were a lot of mistakes. We'll just say that. There were a lot of mistakes by one specific athlete that they ended up depending on him a lot in the team finals. And that is Brody. Brody Malone did not have a great qualification. I think that's putting it lightly. He really just, you and I talked earlier, he had some mistakes, some very uncharacteristic mistakes. And when those, I think as an athlete, it's super challenging to have a mistake. But as a gymnast, when you have an uncharacteristic mistake, I don't know what it does to our brains, but it messes with them.
Yeah.
And it can be so challenging to kind of get that mistake out of your brain, out of your system, and move on to the next. But in qualifications, there were definitely the men, they had some mistakes.
Yeah. So, and here, how many times were you told, everybody competing on that world stage at that level, we're constantly reminded, be normal? Like, okay, that is so much easier said than done.
100%.
At the Olympic Games of all meets. So let's just talk about the Olympic Games. Okay. Because it's only every 4 years.
Right.
Just that alone sets it apart because it has a history going back to ancient
Yeah.
Greece.
Right.
Okay, so the feeling of walking into history, of being part of history, and then you add to it that you are a medal contender.
Right.
You are a contender, that you can win a medal. And then you add in Brody's case, the journey
Yeah.
to this moment, what he has been through. And I take his journey all the way back when he lost his mother. And this was a dream that they had shared together going to the Olympic Games.
Mhm.
So you have all these emotional layers, okay, that he had gotten very, very used to, not using, but just not suppressing either, because you know
Right.
that it's deep within his DNA, and in his heart. But the way he learned to deal with it was often being stoic, being
Mhm.
serious. And as his father taught him to be humble and to not, that's just his nature.
Right.
So that's why it was very hard to read when he started competing in qualifications, because that seemed like Brody.
Mhm.
Although I will say this, I felt when I looked at him, because we get the close-ups getting
Yeah.
watch on television, which is wonderful and awful, because as an athlete who's been in that situation, we can read a lot that maybe others can't read. So I did read some nerves. I did
Yeah.
sense um, extra nerves. So then when the mistake happened, and normally it's a mistake on pommel horse, that he is such a beast, even though it's not his best event, he's a beast.
Yeah.
And he's so strong, he can get himself through it. We saw him doing it at trials, championship, like we've seen him do it, but it didn't happen here. So then it just compounded upon itself that he couldn't quite get back in the
Yeah.
rhythm. However, this is the beauty of team, and Paul Judah, if he is not the heart,
Yes.
not just of this team, because they all shared a heartbeat. I will say this about this men's team: they all shared a heartbeat.
Mhm.
Their unity was their superpower. And
For
Paul
sure.
Judah, from the time he started the process of making this team, established a consistency, a level, like intensity that was always here, and his ability to dial in those routines, routine after routine, all the way through trials. He carried it all the way through qualifications. And we'll
Yeah.
talk about when he gets to team finals what he was able to do. If this is not the perfect Olympic Games for any athlete dreaming of what that moment would feel like at the Olympic Games, it is Paul Judah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
he was so centering for this team. He was so important and valuable to this team to be able to consistently get the scores they needed when
Mhm.
others were having few
Yeah.
little issues, and then Stephen did his job in qualifying just as he was expected, hoped, everything,
Yeah.
to do. But let's just say at the end of qualifications, we all felt what they felt, and that was probably rattled a little bit about,
Mhm.
gosh,
Yeah.
whatever they did, and they talked about it. They have a team something that they do, and I think they've kept it to themselves as they should, because this is that part is a team's privacy to be able to have
Mhm.
the relationship that they have, to have the moments that they share out of the spotlight,
Mhm.
how to build themselves back up, how to bond as a team. You've got guys coming from Michigan, Stanford, Penn State in college,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, that came together as a band of brothers like
Mhm.
no other. And what they did between qualifying and stepping on that floor, because from vault one during team finals through the last landing of Steven Nedorossik's pommel horse routine, I have never seen a more unified
Right.
team effort. 6 for 6 events, 3 for 3 on every single event. That's ungodly. It's
Yeah.
just wow, and they set that up in
Mhm.
their bonding, in
Yeah.
their team exercises.
I feel very deep in my bones that the fact that this Olympic team and their college team experiences, I I'm gonna say it, it helped. I genuinely feel like the experiences that the men's team brought outside of the Olympics, but what they brought to the Olympics of their experience in the NCAA, no doubt in my mind, helped them be this team of like you said, they're brothers. I mean, the experiences that you have at the Olympics, obviously, you form a very special bond, but these guys, you could just feel the raw emotion just from watching them on TV. I
Mhm,
mean, I can only imagine what it was like being in that arena,
mhm.
but the support each and every one of them gave each other, that you just it just felt so genuine, and I'm not saying that other teams didn't have that, but it was just different, like, there was just they added a different element
The
to
huddle,
it.
the
Oh,
huddle
the huddle, yeah.
they did after every event. I mean,
Mhm.
it was unbelievable. I felt like we were almost like we shouldn't be there. I'm
Yeah.
glad we were though, because the way that but they clearly allowed an opening.
Yeah.
There's no way they don't know a camera is looking in on them. And they were so tight together and so
Mhm.
bonded. Um, as I said, it's as if they shared one heartbeat,
Yeah.
um, that's just truly one of the most beautiful things you can see in sports. So the huddle was amazing. There are so many moments, so many unique elements
Mhm.
to what we saw in men's gymnastics, including the way that the audience, their support and their appreciation of men's gymnastics grew as each rotation went. I don't know if you
Yeah.
could sense that. And we're not even there, but I could hear by the time the US men got to pommel horse and this magical like scenario that was about to unfold,
Mhm.
you felt like you were on a film set.
Yeah.
Honestly, you did.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I hope everybody's going to follow the script because this
Right.
is just, in some ways, it was like too good to be true. Especially for us who know, as magical as gymnastics looks, it is not magic.
Right.
We
Yeah.
are making it happen. There is no fairy dust. There is no
If
wires.
only.
There's no smoke and mirrors. There's no
Right.
this. We're making all of this happen, and then
Mhm.
you can hear the audience when we're watching a certain routine. The oh or the
Yeah. The
wild catch,
gasp.
and you're like, what? You know,
Right.
tell us what's happening. Because weirdly, or not, because it's the Olympic Games, between China and Japan, when China had unanticipated falls, now you're opening up the door. And even though we said, oh, it's two teams fighting for gold, two teams fighting for bronze, what did I
Right.
add? No, they are all fighting for medals because in a 3 up 3 count, okay, that's when things get, you know, hairy,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
weird
yeah.
things happens because now Team USA, they're not completely out of silver or gold because
Right.
these teams, you have to hit. You have to
Yeah.
hit. And if there is a miss, you have to keep your cool because you
Yeah.
can't miss again because that score, no matter what, is counting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I mean, the falls that is really that is very hard for a
Mm.
team to be able to stay in their bubble. You hear the crowd, you hear that noise, don't get me wrong, but the way that Team USA didn't let it affect them. I mean, Steven was cool as a cucumber that entire meet, and then, like you said, he went into the back, went into the phone booth, changed into his super suit, and just
Yeah.
I think what was so impressive for me, and it really this moment gave me such flashbacks to 2008.
Yeah.
And that was such you talk about a strong friendship of teammates. I mean, I can speak for the 2008 guys, that's family. And the way that they came together and the way that this Paris team they were never out. Like, I never counted them out. I'm sure a lot of people maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Personally, I was like, they were always in contention for a medal.
Mhm.
Man,
Yeah.
it just blew me away by what they were able to accomplish with all the noise going out around
Yeah,
them.
and especially, I mean, you've got Great Britain.
Yes.
I mean, and Ukraine. Oh my
Mhm.
God. I mean, my heart was just beating for Ukraine. My heart
My
was
heart rate was
I
very high.
for everybody, but
Mhm.
just special feelings for Team Ukraine.
Yeah.
Obviously, all that they have just been through and are still going
Mhm.
through as a country.
Right.
But I love these gymnasts. I Kovtun and I mean, I love them all. I
Yeah.
love how long they've done this sport. Eli's so beautiful to watch.
Mhm.
Fenayev is so phenomenal to watch and to see them fight because they were
Yeah.
right in there, you
For
know,
sure.
with Great Britain, with US. And so that was a wonderful battle to watch. And then with China and Japan, I mean, just their gymnastics alone is like, it's
It is
breath,
gorgeous.
it's breath.
Yes.
I parallel bars and rings. Well, all the events. First of all the events, but parallel bars and rings from both of those teams, I hold my breath watching them.
Mhm.
I look for the wires, for the bungee, because I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. Those strength skills and the way they move in and out of them with ease
Mhm.
and hold positions. Who was at the inverted cross with the head tucked under? I went, how do you do that? How do you do that? We're going to see him in finals. I'm so excited. We are going to, and here's the frustrating part for me because I'm enjoying Twitter. Yeah, I love going through and catching everybody's little video clips, but I got put
Uh-huh.
in Twitter jail like I don't know how many times. Your account has been locked up.
Kathy.
Just trying to share a video, like a little snippet or whatever, or I shared somebody who unfortunately, this content belongs to IOC.
Oh,
I was like, so then I have to wait till either NBC shares a video and then I can reshare it because I want to show people instantly,
yeah.
what was so fantastic. And then they take it down, take it
I
down.
know.
Oh, so frustrated.
The troubles of social media.
No, I know. And you got to understand it too. So, and I don't.
Well, of course. But I do wanna talk about, you know, the camaraderie between Team USA, of course, but the hi I wanna talk about maybe what our biggest highlights were because I know I have one in my head of just the routine that I set so I watched team finals in a Chipotle parking lot. I was eating my lunch. I was in between meetings. This
Oh,
corporate job during the Olympic Games is really rough. It's really tough out there, but I was dedicated and I was like, I have to watch. My heart rate on high bar for Team USA was it
yeah,
was not okay. Was not okay.
yeah,
And when Brody got up there, and again, high bar is in my opinion his best event. That is where he flies. He is so
yeah.
strong. And he makes high bar look like a work of art. I mean, every time he competes, it truly is a work of art. And I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous for him. I was. It was really challenging. And Kathy, I want you to talk about this. Was it challenging to just watch? Like just watch, not have any that we're not working the event at all, just watching and being a fan.
Oh, well, first of all, I screamed, I squealed, I cried, I hoped, I prayed, I hopped up and down in front of the TV so my husband can't see. And he's like, and I'm running around, I'm holding my breath. I'm
Yeah.
like sometimes I'd get right up next to, we got a brand new TV
Ooh.
yesterday and put it up so that we could watch, huge, huge. And I'm just standing. um, I can't, I've never quite watched an Olympic Games like this. I'm always a nervous wreck because we know
Mhm.
what it's like. We know when dreams are on the
Right.
line because we know what it feels like. But I don't know what it is, what it was about these two teams. Maybe it's because I went to trials. Maybe it's
Mhm.
because it's our 40-year anniversary in 1984, hence the leotard. Like I had to go out, dig up my leotard. Yes, I am wearing uh,
Yes, if you're watching this on YouTube, Kathy's wearing a leotard.
for
She
fun.
is indeed in a
Yeah,
leotard.
so this is the replica of our Olympic leotard that they had, we made so that we had one for the tour because mine, I showed you this. So something happened really. Okay,
Kathy's
so
leotard original. This is the
it,
original, right?
it grew. Look how long. So something happened with the material. Look at this. It'll stretch to, okay. It was the most comfortable leotard then. It would now fit my husband.
Aw.
Something weird is happening to the fabric. So I had to put on this one. But it just, I flashed back one after watching um, France
Mhm.
compete. It brought back to me what it's like competing at home. So
Yeah,
that's a whole different thing, an intensity that you can't explain. You can't
yeah.
explain. It's just something you have to manage. It's very difficult. It's wonderful competing at home, but it's like, they're going to have to in 4 years. The US will figure out or know
Yeah.
what that feels like. And it's intense. It's wonderful, though. I don't want to scare anybody because it is wonderful. But yes, having these things come back to you, these memories come
Mhm.
back to you from moments in the Olympic Games when you'd watch the athletes talking to each other on the
Yeah.
board. Were you reminded of moments that when you either huddled or somebody said something to you on the floor or something happened that
Um, yeah, I guess yes. Yes and no. I think my I feel like I was so young. The main moment I remember is like right before qualifications when we had not one but two injuries and all of a sudden my score was counting and I was like, I'm the one in the back like, "Excuse me, I have a question.
Mhm.
Why is my score counting? Oh, it's 4 up, 4 count. Oh, okay." And Alicia had to like pull me aside and bring me back down to earth cuz I left my body. I was halfway out the door. I was
Uh, gosh.
so I think those moments, I think seeing Simone, and we'll get into the women, but seeing Simone help Jade, that brought back a lot of memories because Alicia was that for me. Alicia and Sam, I mean, my entire team, Chelsea, Sean, Nastia, all of us were very close, but Alicia and Sam really helped me during those, I
Mhm.
mean, challenging, mentally tough times
Yeah.
during the biggest meet of my life.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it definitely brought back memories, really good memories, I will say. I mean, it was for the
Uh-huh.
most part.
Yeah, it was interesting with the men's team watching them, and same thing with the women in moments that they weren't their normal self,
Yeah.
but it was like the right energy and the right thing to do. There were times Asher was more reserved, um,
Yeah.
which was unusual because we're so used to. I mean, he's a hype man. He's a
He's the
let's
life
go.
of the party.
Absolutely. But there were a few times that he had to just, he was serious and focused. Not that he's not serious and focused when he's hyped and
Mhm.
saying, let's go. But that just shows you that the Olympics is different.
Yeah.
You have to navigate it differently. You have to recognize that there will be moments that may feel different or bring up something that you weren't anticipating
Yeah.
or expecting, and you have to be able to manage it as it happens.
Mhm.
And watching the men do that, so they managed it in qualifications, but then mastered it
Yeah.
in the team finals. I wonder how many other men's teams, especially, how many other men's teams in history have had that perfect a meet. I wonder seriously, that Team USA had. yes,
Mhm.
there were a couple hops on floor, a couple hop landings, but a lot of sticks,
Yeah.
which I if there was one moment that sort of gave us an insight into the change from qualifications to team finals was vault when they opened up with two sticks, like
Mhm.
cold sticks.
Yeah.
Paul Judah, Brody Malone, and beautiful execution.
Yeah.
Like it was tremendous execution, form, everything to set up Asher, most difficult vault, you know,
That vault,
and it's
I
the
just
best.
wanna know I know, but I wanna know how do you learn that? Like, where do you start?
You're asking me. Yeah. Yes. I don't,
I'm just curious.
yeah, I don't start. It's wild. And it was the best one he's done actually in a long time, like
Yeah.
maybe ever.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe he has stuck it. Maybe I'm not sure, but I can't think of a better one because he struggled in podium training with
Yeah.
that vault. It was barely like qualifications. He made it, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an alternate for finals on
Mhm.
that first alternate for
Yeah.
vault. But in that moment, that his teammates set him up so beautifully to
Perfectly.
like,
Yeah.
go big, and that's what I loved that they went so big.
I yes, and I'm gonna piggyback off of that because not only did they go big, but they had such control.
Yes.
It's very easy to let your gymnastics just fly. It is, like, to just let it go and literally
Yeah.
say, 1, 2, 3, here we go. But
Yeah.
it's so challenging to do that while also controlling each and
Yes.
every single landing. And
Yeah.
I feel like on vault, it was kind of the perfect rotation for them
Yeah.
because they were able to just go for it while also maintaining that control. And I think talking about Asher on vault, one of the hardest, if not, I believe it's actually the hardest vault that
Mhm.
we saw. And he went big,
Mhm.
but the control he had on his landing, I'm saying it, that was the best vault I've ever seen him do.
Yeah. I think back to like the last few NCAA championships we've seen, and I've always recently thought that vault is now the almost the hardest event to start on, which is weird
Oh
because
my
I
gosh.
always love start because we used to say, it's an adrenaline event. So it's not a bad thing to come out there, just fire, get your energy up and go big and go hard. But the need to stick that landing, to control
Yeah.
after, a full speed, one skill, flying high and far, the fact that those guys for Team USA were able to go big
Oh, yeah.
because they didn't hold back to try to find that landing. They
Right.
did huge vaults and just drilled them. So, I
Yeah.
mean, kudos to them because that is not an easy thing to do, not in any competition, but certainly not the Olympic Games. And then I just think then the rotation was really, really good for them to go, you know, to get that out of the way, to get those stuck
Mhm.
landings and get off to P bars where again, we've seen that's where nerves can really come in because you're
Mhm.
holding anytime there's static positions that
Yeah.
you have to hold. But parallel bars, especially, which for me now is like high bar on two rails.
Yeah.
I'm how it's become high bar on two rails with no grips.
Mhm. Oh, I know.
I mean, the giant swings,
Oh,
the huge skills on P bars. It is a swinging event now. But then the hold in the handstand, those static position, and having to get the times that I watched them land in handstand after a difficult skill, and it felt like maybe it was the angle of the camera. I go, are their hands slightly staggered? Are they askew a little bit? And then they would just straighten themselves out. I mean, we do that on uneven bars, uh,
right. Yep.
but it was just remarkable, and to see them so solid there, so serene, um, and Fred Richards, wow, what
He's incredible.
an Olympic, yeah, he really is. He's somebody who has those two seemingly opposing superpowers, just the power, the aggressive, go big, win
Mhm.
mentality, but then the razor focus, the laser focus,
Yeah.
uh, to get those little details, to get the landings pretty uncanny, on finding landings in pressure
Mhm.
situations. In fact, shout out to Justin Spring. It was funny. I couldn't get my closed caption off the first during until my husband came home and he goes, "Do you want those closed?" No, get them off the screen for me. But I took a screenshot of one, and it was Fred Richard doing his dismount off high bar, and the closed caption read, "See dismount, said to himself, bet," or something like that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
like, said bet. I was like, that is that is so awesome that I have to quote that, because that's what he was doing. He's like flying the
Yeah.
land. He was like, bet, I got this. Drop chin.
I I felt like every routine that they did, it was like, "Doubt me, I dare you."
Yeah.
Like, it was like, "Tell me that I can't do this. I dare you." Because you wanna talk about a team that was all gas, no brakes. I
Mm.
mean, that was, I think, what stood out really to me is they never let up. I mean, every single
They never
routine.
showed nerves.
Yes,
Did
they
not
didn't show
show
nerves. They
nerves.
were unrattled. They were unrattled by the crowd, by what was happening around them. I mean, you wanna talk about blinders on, they are staying in their lane. They were in their huddle, in their bubble. I mean, that was really impressive, but what they were able to accomplish after qualifications by not just like, "Oh, we really need to hit this routine."
Yeah.
They every I could be wrong, and I probably am, but every routine, the score was up, every
Yes.
single one. I
Oh,
mean, there was not as we said that they had to be
yeah.
perfect essentially to
Yeah.
win a medal.
Bart wrote, posted something about you guys had to be perfect to win a medal, and you did. And I was like, oh my God, Bart, maybe it's 40 years that we've worked together, but we're like, we share a brain. He can finish my sentences and stuff. I said the exact same thing, except I used flawless instead of perfect. And look how perfectly flawless Team USA was
Mhm.
from vault one to that final landing on pommel horse, and that they never did look nervous. So
Right.
whatever it is they did, they need to bottle it and sell it.
Yeah.
No, yeah, because I've never felt more comfortable
Yeah.
watching a team. They didn't give me the heebie-jeebies at all. I just, I don't know. It was like always said, trust, believe, go. That's what it looked
Mhm.
like to me.
Yeah.
They trusted their training. They trust each other.
Yeah.
They believe, and they've believed all along. Nothing rattled them. Nothing changed their belief in one another.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I think that's what helped Brody. It's like, because they needed Brody. They needed
Oh,
Brody's
yeah.
all around mastery,
Yeah.
in team finals. And he turned it around. And all I could think of was his mom somewhere just looking down at her son, going, wow, what a
Yeah.
special human that I raised. But to see his dream come true, and then to hear he referred to his father as his rock,
Yeah.
um, just at all the relationships, of these athletes with their support staff, their significant others, um, and their coaches, everything.
Yeah. I do wanna say one of my favorite parts of watching the men's final and then the women's final is the parents in the crowd. I would really appreciate it if Fred's parents could call me every Monday morning and give me a pep talk getting ready for my work week because the support that was just oozing out of them, but also just the love, and Oh, it, like, made me tear up sometimes when they would show the parents and just
Yeah.
it's so special to have those moments
Yeah. And I know
with
some people go, "Oh, would you stop, show another routine." I get that, but here's what it also does is it humanizes
yeah.
the Olympics. So it's not just about sports. It's not just about winning
Mhm.
in that moment. It's the connections that we've made. It's the support that we've enjoyed, and the unconditionality of that
Yeah.
love and support. And I think you and I feel the same way. I feel that about these athletes, and I'm not their parent.
Yeah.
Like I am
Yeah.
when I'm watching them compete. I guess because I know what it feels like on both ends now.
Mhm.
But I'm glad they do humanize it as we watch these Olympic Games because we can't forget that part of it.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. So, I mean, the men are Olympic bronze medalists.
Yeah.
Team Japan took
Oh,
gold, Team China took silver, and I mean, you wanna talk about a fairy tale ending for those guys that I mean, it was truly incredible what they did,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
don't think America could be more proud
Oh, what a
of.
moment for Daiki Hashimoto, who struggled, okay,
Yes.
through qualifications,
Mhm.
and even in team finals. But when, unfortunately, because this breaks my heart too, is when there's a fall, um, Suede on
Mhm.
who had the fall, which was just heart crushing. But
Yeah.
it opens the door. It does. And the thing about Japan, because they're all competing in their bubble,
Yeah.
they are not unlike other sports. There is no offensive defense. You're not
Right.
playing against each other. You're competing with everybody. Um, but I'm sure you know that a door has been opened and that there's an
Mhm.
opportunity. And also, it's a reminder you never, ever, ever give up. You
Yeah.
never, ever don't fight for every single tenth of a point, even after a mistake,
Mhm.
especially after a mistake, because then there were two falls on a high bar routine. And
Yeah.
now that heartbreak is an opportunity, sadly, on the one end, on the other one, for someone to walk right into history by handling the pressure, because then it elevates your own pressure. It's like,
Right.
because as we know, it's like it's human nature. They're not the only one that can make a mistake in the Olympic Games.
Right.
We can all make a mistake
Absolutely.
in the Olympic Games, even trying our best, even being completely prepared. So I love seeing Daiki Hashimoto have that moment on the most beautiful event, high bar,
Mhm.
where he is just spectacular. And he just swung so big and so
Oh,
free,
yeah.
seemingly. It was beautiful, and then stick. So what a moment for Japan. It's been 3 Olympics since they've won
Mhm.
gold. So I'm very, very excited for them. And then let's relive Pommel Horse.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Let's just relive it,
I like
because
this.
when Paul Judah, the very reason, not just because he competed so spectacularly well in the all around, and
Mhm.
that unbeknownst to all of us, he has this whiteboard,
Yes.
okay, the whiteboard, which I really want to see. All of the little things that he wrote on it, including all around final, his team medal. I mean, everything.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious, he's got check marks now on all of it. But for him to come down to his final routine, okay,
Mhm.
not of the Olympic Games, he's in all around finals, but for Team USA, because this is for a medal.
Oh, yeah.
We're three routines away from a medal. And for him to go up again on pommel horse, did you ever sense a nerve? Did you ever it was just
No.
the calmest, most confident. And his heart was beating out of his uniform. Like there
Oh, I
is no
know.
way that it wasn't. But this is somebody who prepared for this moment in such a way that he managed immense pressure. Um, and the little child within him was probably screaming. And
Yeah.
there's times you have to like tame it. It's like, calm down, calm down, calm down.
Right.
I'm excited too, but let's get through this. To set up Brody Malone when and I sadly know what it feels like to have to get back up on event at the
Mhm.
Olympic Games after falling. And it is a real quick turnaround that you have to be able to, as he even said, you have to have a short memory.
Yeah.
You have to have a short memory, was Jenny Rowland says,
Oh,
memory
yeah.
goldfish.
Memory of a goldfish.
Yes. Um, that's easier said than done
Sure.
because of muscle memory, because of heart memory, like everything, and your nervous system. You
Yeah.
know, all of you has to do this pommel horse routine, not
Mhm.
just not just the body that is so well trained, but everything
Right.
come together. So to see Brody just take all of those nerves, emotion, everything, and channel it in a way that he got through that routine. And you could see the one part in there, and I was like, work, 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 work.
Oh,
And he
yeah.
right through it all the way through to the end to set up perhaps one of the most iconic moments in Olympic history. And that's
Yeah.
Stephen Nederos. Like Nederosik, when we're like, I think we imagined this sort of. And when we previewed it, I didn't know they were
Yeah.
on Pommel Horse as their last event. Who could have?
Right. Well, because here's the thing. A lot of people, when the team was decided, it raised some eyebrows like, "Oh, they're taking a specialist over an all-arounder?
Mhm.
What a That's a
Yep.
risk. That's
Yeah.
really risky."
Yeah.
And man, you wanna talk about someone who he just sat there, had his head back. It looked like he was maybe taking a nap. I
Mhm.
doubt that was what he was doing by any means, but I mean, he just looked so
Yeah.
relaxed, and I believe he made a statement of after Paul and Brody went up and hit,
Yeah.
he knew.
Yeah. Remember, he said, I know statistics. Okay. First of
Oh,
all,
yeah.
this is a mechanical engineer. He's a mechanical engineer. Um, so the ultimate gym nerd,
Yes.
real nerd, gym nerd. Love it, love it, love it. My son's a mechanical engineer major, so I got it. He knows statistics, he knows numbers. Okay.
Right.
And he said, I think what he said was, when everyone hits before me, and you're talking 17 hits
Right.
before he did that routine, 17 back to back to back to back hits. I always hit. So that I think, and it's not the superstition thing. It's not that. His is all analytical. Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
He just knows. I
this
mean,
is
that is someone that knows, doesn't
this is what I
guess.
do.
He knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was so prepared, but then the the joy and the fun of watching him take the glasses off
Oh my gosh.
and get up there and squint, and the way he looked, I took screenshots. I loved getting, because I just wanted to remember I want to be able to look back at them, the moments
Right.
as he looks over and he's squinting. And what I learned is his eyes are always dilated, is what my husband read. I did not know this. I didn't know what is, like, is it vision?
Mhm.
Is it, well, that's what his eye, they're, I believe this is what correct, that they're always dilated. So imagine all the light. So
I
like if you
can't.
just had
Right.
an appointment with the eye doctor, and they dilate your eyes and you have to wear sunglasses, like you have to
Mhm.
wear something so that you can, because of all the light coming in. So if that is the case, that is why we see the squint, the look, not so much I can't. It's not like he can't see the equipment, but can
Yeah.
you imagine? Can
No.
you imagine? And then the quickness. I like that somebody called pommel horse beam hands, or like hand beam. I think that's
Oh,
what they call it. Yeah,
okay.
hand beam. It's hand beam. You have to do beam on your hands. Um, the the back to back difficulty,
Mhm.
um, and especially that one part, and he does have the leg separation. You're like, oh my god, Air flew
Oh,
out of my but he managed
oh
it just
yeah.
beautifully, and then all he had to do was take it up to handstand, spin
And he
off
did it with such ease. I mean, he floated up there. There was
and flare, and the reaction on the landing, that he knew, but then off to the side, all of his brothers
yeah.
jumping in the air.
Oh,
I mean, simultaneously. What a moment they will remember. And when it's a shared moment, this feeling when it's
oh
a
yeah.
shared moment with such a special team, guys who have bonded and intentionally bonded in a way that they would be better than the sum of their parts.
Yeah.
That's just that's team. That is the essence of team, and it's
Right.
the core of Olympism and Olympic Games, everything.
Oh yeah. No, it was, I mean, I thought it was just so cool to see that what the men accomplished. They win a bronze medal, and then the women.
Yeah,
We have I mean, the women, they are Olympic gold medalists.
yeah. What do
Wow.
you, what I I know that they're calling themselves initials, FOAT.
Yeah,
Yeah, whatever, FOAT, whatever. What I'm calling, and they are still the Phoenix Five to me. They will forever. I don't. I'm just gonna call them that myself because
and that's
this is
fine.
the most resilient
Yeah.
group of women who came together, and I add Hesley into that because the way she competed in qualifying, because I saw the nerves
Yeah.
instantly when she got on beam, and we talked about this. Like it could go either way. I could see it. I could see it,
Yeah.
but she refused to fall off that beam. Like she
Oh,
was.
yeah.
How did she
I have no
do
idea.
like almost to a pose on her knee? Like that was almost a planned piece of choreography
Right.
to not go off. That was not magic. That's heart. That's determination.
Mhm.
um so good for her to be able to do that and then come back and hit bars the way she did at 16 years of age. Like,
Incredible.
I mean, because there was no way in the beginning she anticipated making this team and competing 2 events
Right.
for
Yeah.
the best team in the world.
Yeah.
And just so everybody knows, because this is really, really important when it comes to lineups for team finals, because I know there was so much talk out there, especially saying taking Hesley out, not putting Hesley in, I go,
Yeah.
wait, time out, time out, time out. So this is this is the format for
Mhm.
the Olympic Games, the 3 up, 3 count. They went with the 3 highest scores. Okay, from
Right.
qualifying, the 3 highest score. They didn't go through and say, "Oh, she was this, she was that." It was
Mhm.
not that at all. You want your 3 highest scores in team finals because anything can happen. It's not the Olympic Games are not, "Yeah, but you need to give somebody their chance or their wet."
Oh, yeah. No. No. I
It
agree with you there.
Yes, and trust me, Hesley is so much a part of this medal. So
Oh my
much
gosh.
this medal. As
But
are
you all
as are the alternate athletes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's be clear about that because they are all part of how they developed this team, and we're there because being an alternate, having to be prepared because you never know what's going to
Mhm.
happen.
Yeah.
You live through it.
Yeah.
You live through it, and same thing with Hesley. She had to be ready on every single event,
Mhm.
warmed up, ready to go just in case because you have to put 3 up for
Yeah.
3 to count. So now these women um, get to start on vault. How wonderful to see Jade get up there. Well, first of all, and
Yeah.
feel better because
Yeah.
we could tell something wasn't right in qualifying.
Mhm.
Nobody had any idea she wasn't feeling well. Nobody knew that for a few days she wasn't feeling well and couldn't eat and sleep and all of that.
Mhm.
Can you imagine
No.
having to do no vault
No.
and floor of all
Yeah.
events that just takes so much energy. So it was wonderful to see her, start them off on
Yeah.
that first event with such beautiful vault after, oh my gosh, Jordan,
Jordan has the most, I'm sorry, but that Yurchenko double twist,
gorgeous.
chef's kiss.
Yes,
Absolutely stunning.
yes.
I have to say I was so impressed by, I mean, I'm always impressed
Mhm,
by anytime Team USA competes, but
mhm.
at these Olympic Games, they have been so resilient.
Yeah,
And I'm taking that word from you. I never use that
yes.
word, but I'm taking it from you.
Yeah.
They have been so resilient to not let what happened beforehand, because
Mhm.
the women's qualification, there were some mistakes, there were some errors, and
Oh, air, like
yeah, there were
nerve-wracking.
some errors. Yes, there were definitely some
First
errors.
half of the meet, we're not even sure if Simone is okay,
Yeah,
with with her calf, and
right.
nobody knew exactly what was going on. We're trying to read lips. We're trying to watch every little thing during qualifying, um, and to see those little mistakes and some of the nerves, but
Mhm,
but they got through them. And like the men, from vault one all the way through, I just, even though I was nervous
mhm.
watching them, it was more excitement, you know, and
Yeah,
anticipation. Yes, nervous just because you want so much for them because they, every single one of them, which is why I named them the Phoenix Five, has been through not just a little something,
yeah.
big somethings that
Mhm.
they've all been through. And the way these women love each other, support each other, um, and one thing to address as well, because I saw a little bit of this on social media during qualifying. Because remember, during qualifying, they're also qualifying for event finals and all around finals and all of that.
Mhm.
And you have this tight competition, um, with all the teams, not just Team USA, with all the teams and all their great athletes, um, because of two per country.
Yeah,
You can only get two in. So you've got this very tight competition with Jordan and Suni in the all around.
yeah.
And in the end, it was what, just 0.066, like
It was tight. It was
tight,
tight.
tight. It was such a beautiful thing, the way that they supported each other and cheered each other
Mhm.
on. But then in that moment, we have to allow them, both of them, and they handled it beautifully, some space to, one was realized a dream right in that moment.
Right.
We got to, I mean, we saw the same thing with Jordan Weber and Ali Raceman. Okay. In
Mhm.
that moment, the painful, because it is painful when you've come so close to realizing yet another dream
Yeah,
that you just missed,
yeah,
but that your dear friend, sister, teammate, someone you love dearly got that spot.
yeah,
Okay. They needed the space because she didn't instantly, and cheer and jump.
yeah.
It's like, please, everybody, please, everybody,
Right.
recognize and respect these two great athletes who handled that moment
Mhm.
as they should, giving each other just the space and then coming together, and then to see them through team finals,
Mhm.
to lift each other up every event, keep each other up, celebrate with each other. Um,
Right.
my heart just burst
Yeah.
watching the genuine love and hugs throughout the competition.
Mhm.
So, anyways, after vault, and
Yep.
then they go to bars. For some reason, bars just had me.
I was nervous. I
Weren't you?
was nervous.
I,
I was very nervous.
I mean, we've joked that bars is the new beam, beam is whatever, but
Yeah.
there's so many connections, and
Yes.
so many ways to get slightly just off and have to work through. And
Mhm.
no one does that better than Suni. Okay.
Right.
Now on the sidelines having to wait.
Yep.
go last all through everybody going. And you've just seen in the warm ups, um, Flavia
Yes.
Saraiva of Brazil. Oh my God.
That was a really yeah,
That was a
so
scary warm up.
yeah, she was doing it from what I thought, she was doing her Tkachev. She was getting ready to do she does a, pike Tkachev
Hmm.
into a pack.
Yes.
If I'm correct, which I feel like I when I watched it, she went to tap
Yes. And just,
and slipped off and ended up kneeing her face a
yes.
part of her leg, I don't know if it was her knee, her shin,
Yeah.
I mean, hit her eye right above the eyebrow, and that
Yes.
is as a human, that's scary, but as a gymnast,
Yeah.
that rattles you. I mean, that rattles you, and the one thing to keep in mind is not only was Flavia maybe a little rattled, but man, she reeled it in. Really impressive work by her on bars, showing
Yes.
up for the team, but it's scary. I mean, a fall like that, you're not intending to do that. It looked like her hands slipped. I mean, it
Yeah.
looked like her
Yeah.
hands she went to regrip and just
Yeah.
off she
You know,
went.
you and I talked about it. It's like when you're rotating this format, two teams on are going at the same time.
Yep.
And because they were competing with China, um, beautiful bar
Mhm.
workers, but they often use the bar. Everybody uses the bars differently, chalks
Differently.
it up
Right.
with water,
Yep.
chalk, honey, whatever they do, it's very different. Some people really like to sand off all that
Mhm.
chalk,
All
scrub
of
it
it.
all off,
Yep.
all of it. Um, so who knows how that was managed? We don't know, but it did look like she slipped, like just pinged off the bar.
Yeah.
Had the bandage on her eye, had the bruise already showing
Yeah.
below the eye.
My
So
gosh.
so she hit hard. Medical had to check her out, but tough, tough.
Oh, tough as nails. Whoo, that was
Got
impressive.
up there and nails her bar routine. Sets up Rebecca Andrade, who's I love this team. So I love Team Brazil. I love these gymnasts, all of them.
Mhm.
Jage Barbosa. I mean, they are just what's not to love?
Yeah.
What's not
I
to
would
love?
agree to that.
Everything about them. And I love the respect that all the teams have for each other. I love the respect that
Mhm.
Simone and Rebecca have for one another and how much they support each other. They want to
Not
win.
only not only do they support each other, they
Yeah,
push each other.
absolutely.
I mean, and that is that is a very special bond
Yes.
to have that intense and that just
Yeah.
extreme amount of support, but also in
Yeah.
that healthy I mean, just
Yeah.
2 athletes making dreams come true.
Yeah. And Rebecca and Flavia's relationship is so
Mhm.
sweet and wonderful. Watching
Yeah.
them throughout a competition lift each other up and just do exquisite gymnastics. We'll talk
Yes.
about their floor in a little bit because their
Yes.
floor, I can't wait to all around because I want to see more routines. First of all, um, like I really do. I want to see it all, um, but that's almost impossible on the broadcast, unfortunately. But anyways, so going through bars
Mm.
and feeling nervous for
Yeah.
them, feeling even for Jordan, which I'm never nervous for Jordan Childs on bars.
I wasn't nervous for Jordan. I mean, she just had this look and, like, I was like, "Oh, she's got it." Like, and
Yeah.
I
And it
feel
was so
like
much more
bars
serious, like
yes.
the
Yeah. She was
intensity.
dialed in. I mean, she was really dialed in. She knew she had a job, and the
Yeah,
leadoff athlete, we talk about this so much in NCAA, but it really correlates to every it doesn't
yeah,
matter what, uh, level you are. When you are the leadoff, that's an important role
yeah.
because
She
you
was
have
so
to hit.
sharp. She was
Yeah.
so sharp.
Agreed.
Um, like I've never seen her quite so on, with the exception
Mhm.
of Beam, the mount. In
Yeah.
fact, weirdly, I know I'm jumping ahead of myself. So remind me of that when we get to Beam. So let me finish bars because
Okay.
this is the way
Yep.
my brain's been going.
You're
Um,
good.
yeah, I know. And then Simone is always an adventure on bars for me. I like
She works those bars,
I
man. She works those bars.
yeah, and she had to on this one. There were a couple of times, that she literally had to flex her feet. I don't know what the feet had to do with making something work, but she made it work. I was like, whoa, dang, it is done and over before I can breathe. It's so
Yeah,
fast, it's so quick, and it works for her. Um,
for sure.
it, so another hit, and then the double double. I mean,
Oh,
with ease, like nothing.
whoop.
Yeah,
Off she goes. 2 flips, 2
like
twists, boop.
like a cat you've tossed off a building,
Right.
finds finds the floor just every single time.
Yeah.
Um, but to set up Suni, and
Mhm.
I don't. It's hard to
I
describe.
was really
I was
I was
nervous,
nervous. I was very nervous for Suni for
not
some odd reason. I don't know why.
just because of everything, like
Yeah.
everything all at once. We know everything she's been through. We
Mhm.
know how much this means to her. We know how much it means to Team USA. This needs to
Right.
be a big number. She knows that. Like this is this is all the layers that came in with Suni with this bar routine. Knowing what a unicorn she is on this event,
Mhm.
how special she is. I mean, I literally could watch her swing all day long. I have
Yeah.
stood next to the bars when she swings, and her aura. I wish it could rub off on me so I could swing bars like that, but it's just the energy that's there and the flow of the routine,
Yeah.
just her ability, magical ability, it seems, to make everything just work and look easy,
Mhm.
including after, belly drop during the warm-ups. That
Yep.
didn't worry me. That doesn't worry me when I see her do that. I mean, I know she doesn't like to do that, but that doesn't worry me. I was like, great. She now knows what a little too far is. Gets the timing. You dial the
Yeah.
timing in right when you do that. So I wasn't worried about that. What I was worried about was the Baharwaj. After once she caught, since she didn't really get that timing in that last warm up,
Mhm.
and but she's so incredible and she's such a unicorn in this way. You see the position she was in when she
Oh,
called
yeah.
that Bernard watch? I was like, okay, the ability for her to somehow realign her shoulders, keep her grip on the bar, get pressure
Yeah.
on both hands, and almost kept her feet from touching the floor. They did touch the floor. So she got the bigger
Has
deduction.
that been confirmed that they touched the floor? I thought I saw something that was like, it was super close, but
So in
oh,
real time,
darn.
and remember, this is all the judges get is in real
Right. Right.
to see if it's if no touch, obviously no
Right.
deduction. I knew it was going to be something.
Close.
It was going to
Yeah.
be close just because of the way she had to catch the skill and swing
Mhm.
out of it. Um, but they can only judge in real time. Was it a brush? I thought in real time, I was like, I think it was more than a brush.
Okay.
Maybe just a brush, maybe a
Yeah.
brush, but I wasn't sure if it was an actual hit.
The thing to keep in mind too is that
They
it
did a
didn't
replay.
really
They did.
but it didn't break her swing.
No, and
Like,
her
it didn't
toes
break that rhythm, which is
yeah,
that's the worst part about obviously hitting your feet is you break your rhythm where
yes.
she was
Yeah.
able to keep going.
No, and keep going beautifully and get back
Yeah.
into her amazing rhythm, which is what makes her routine so special. It's
Yeah.
the rhythm and how long and the extension of
Yeah.
her body. And it's so elegant too,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh, absolutely.
just beautiful.
Yeah.
So when she landed, I mean, relief that I felt. I know my husband, he was laughing at me because of all my different expressions
Mhm.
and crying and everything that I did throughout watching the competition. He was getting a kick out of. Then we go to Beam. Then we go to Beam.
Yes.
And
Beam.
I mean, it's impossible not to be nervous for people on Beam, no matter
Yeah,
how wonderful, no matter
for
how,
sure.
because there's nobody that is more secure than Simone on
Mhm.
balance beam, no matter
Yeah.
what. And I was even nervous when she went. But weirdly, I thought when Jordan did her mount, I thought that was still warm ups. Because
Okay,
did you think that too?
I did
I
too. I didn't realize no, I didn't realize they were it was like starting. Like, I genuinely did not realize she was up
No,
and going. So when she fell, I was like, "Oh, man." I was like,
yeah.
that's a bummer of a warm up," and
She
then I
hopped
was
back
like,
up, but then I was like, the way she hopped back up, I go, "Oh, she's
"Yeah."
competing. Oh, no, no, no,
Well,
no."
and you saw Kathy, that shoulder dropped just,
She was off
like
on the run. Did you see that? Her
the
run looked a little crooked,
yeah,
like something just was off.
the angle the TV angle that we got, I felt like I was nitpicking really badly, which I didn't mean to, but I was like, "Oh."
Yeah,
Like, I saw, like, a little bit of a shoulder dip, and I was like, "Oh, but is it because, like, maybe the mat was a little soft?"
yeah.
Like, maybe where she pushed and again,
Who knows? No,
we're
no,
not
no.
gonna
No,
speculate, but
no. No, I'm glad they didn't stay on the end camera the entire time,
oh
as
god,
we've
yeah.
seen happen before, and drives me
Mhm.
out of my mind. Once in a while, I like end shots, but that's where you coach from. That is not where you judge from or enjoy a
Mhm.
gymnastics routine. I just like it from the side.
Yeah.
It's informative, though. You're right.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, for sure. It
to
has its space. It has its space, and it has a there is a reason for it, but
Yeah.
I think I mean, watching Jordan what she did after her fall
Oh, that's what
was
I had to write immediately. Like,
yeah.
so Twitter's almost like my pacifier during me. It keeps me like calm. I just get all my thinking out, all my thoughts or all my whatever. I just um, but it was so remarkable
Yeah.
and so spectacular the way that she, because I could at first I was trying to read her face, because now you can. We're looking at the end, so it's like all we're seeing. I can see her face, and I was like, I don't want to say it looked like she was going to cry, but you could see, like, it's,
You could see
there's
emotion.
an
Yeah.
emotion, but what overrode that emotion that I did see on her face was just the intense focus
Mhm.
on staying engaged with that routine and
Yeah.
committed. It was near perfection. It was near her perfection, her personal perfection, every skill, every step after that, and then sticks the landing, the
Yeah.
double pike. So kudos to her, because those things matter. If this
Oh, yeah.
competition had been close, as it absolutely could be, because you never know what's going to happen,
Mhm.
every single tenth, every half tenth point matters. And she competed as if that was the case.
Oh, absolutely.
Love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I just that
Yeah.
admire her so much, and the maturity and the growth of Jordan Childs to add to her special, just personality that is bigger than
Yeah.
bigger than life. Um, the whole package is just such a
Mhm.
gift to us in gymnastics, and such fun to watch, even on a nerve wracking event.
Eh Oh, I
Like,
agree. Well, and I think also, Suni went right after that fall. And
yeah,
there's something to be said when you go after a fall in general,
yeah. And
nerve-wracking.
she was nervous in qualifications, so you could
Yes.
see the nerves. She only did side aerial layout, but here, I mean, she went big.
Yeah.
That's the key to
She didn't
being.
hold back, and I think that's when Suni does her best
Oh,
gymnastics, is when she doesn't hold back, and as an athlete, you wanna make sure you're on, you wanna make and kudos to Suni for having the ability to have so many tricks up her sleeve that she can make those adjustments mid-skill.
yeah,
In qualification, she just did side aerial layout.
yeah.
Today, we saw a
Ooh,
stunning,
yeah,
right over the top side aerial layout. Without a doubt, the hardest combination. I mean, you're even a centimeter off, and that entire
yeah,
series is gone.
yeah. She does it with such ease.
Yeah.
It's really remarkable, and she did, kind of undercut even a little bit more than she normally, because she usually does. Every time she does that skill, I swear she's gonna go off the end of the beam, because
Yeah.
other gymnasts would need more space.
Yeah.
I think she could do it on a bar table, like on a
Oh, yeah.
round, seriously, she
Mhm.
could do it in place probably, but she's so light and airy. Um, the screenshots or the photos that I
Oh,
shared with you of Suni on beam, her leap, her back attitude,
no.
because like her posture, and I'll talk about this when we get to floor too, her
Mhm.
elegance, her mature elegance, fluidity,
Yeah.
the feeling in the movement. It's pure artistry. I mean,
Yeah.
that is so artistic and not just in the technical sense, not in the things that are also the deductions that they're
Mhm.
taking for those artistry deductions. But on top of that, her stylish presentation
Yeah.
just is beautiful, breathtaking,
Oh,
actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she was smiling mid dismount. I mean, what a moment for her to
Yeah.
land that dismount and again, setting up Simone
Who was
for
unreal? Okay, that's when I said, I think that's what I wrote. Okay, she just proved it. She is unreal. She is not real. How just watch her feet, like,
Oh, I know.
and sometimes and you go, wait, you should
How?
not be able to stay on the beam. Like, that's not possible to land on that part of the beam in that position. And then she just sort of made the adjustment. She doesn't panic. Even her wolf turn, I thought,
Yeah.
okay, if she comes up any higher, as
Oh,
she's
yeah.
it's like, is it
That
going to
was impressive.
a wolf turn? Because she was coming up to try to save because it was a little bit off, but then just finishes
Yep.
in like her perfect pose position. Same thing. She always goes to that pose position.
Mhm.
Got it. No problem. I love her facial expressions, even in the routine, but after.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, what she did on balance beam, that's a lot of pressure for
Mhm.
Suni and Simone, and not only did they handle it with grace, but
Yeah.
they made what could have been pretty large mistakes,
Yep.
minimal, if not even completely disguised as dance, as artistry, and that is a veteran. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a veteran competitor right there. So after balance beam, how were you feeling going into floor?
I was feeling great I mean, I was, except, I also think, oh, I worry about health too. Going to
Yeah,
like it's just a hard event.
for
All of
sure.
the tumbling, all of those landings, all of those takeoffs. As I said, the gymnasts make it look magical, and it's not. We know it's not
Yeah,
magic.
yeah.
We know the toll on the bodies,
Mhm.
and the effort. I mean, just look at Simone after the floor routine. This time she was celebrating because they just won a gold medal, but usually she has to come sit down or
Oh,
even walk
yeah.
upstairs. It's like, let me just sit down.
She needs a moment, and she deserves every moment after her floor routines, but I I do want you to talk a little bit about Suni and Jordan because
I know.
they were beautiful. I mean, Simone was beautiful, but
Yes.
she had such an interesting delay. I mean, the world
Yeah.
was watching Simone.
Yes.
But before her, Suni and Jordan did
Oh,
beautiful gymnastics.
yeah. They all did. And they all
Mhm.
did together. That's why I was feeling so good when I would watch them off the side on the floor. Um, Not just reading their body language and their facial expressions, but I think what they were able to do at these Olympic Games was what they hoped to do, not just win
Yeah,
the gold medal, but to actually enjoy the experience together. The thing they
yeah.
didn't get in Tokyo. And you saw them intentionally taking in those moments,
Mhm.
sharing those moments together. I loved when Jordan came off floor and Suni goes up, "That was fire!" Like,
Yeah,
that's what she said to Jordan.
right.
"That was fire," and she was right, you
Yeah.
know? I mean, they are like fire and ice. They're on floor especially. I mean, Suni's floor routine to start off the rotation for Team USA, that's a beautiful floor routine.
Mhm.
She doesn't have the high D score of Simone Biles or Rebecca Andrade or, but her choreography and that
Mhm.
music.
Oh, it's breathtaking. The music alone, I was like, "Wow."
Her opening, I kept replaying, I videotaped it so that I could go back and I wanted to get, like, screenshots of just special mo but the fluidity of her arms, the movement in
Mhm.
choreography was breathtaking to me, and so perfectly done with the music, the feel of the music.
Mhm.
Every piece of that floor routine is absolutely beautiful. So I love that we get to see it again in
Yeah.
the all around because every time she's done it, it's gotten better and richer and fuller,
Yeah.
which that's what you love to see on the floor. And Jordan is just,
She
um,
is that girl.
yeah, she
She is
is.
that girl.
This routine was a little different. She didn't quite do the showy on the dance,
Mhm.
not in a bad way. I don't want to say she was whole. It was still big and
Yeah.
bold, but she was so focused on the tenths of a point on the gymnastics part, that this is a judged event. This
Yeah.
isn't just performance. This isn't just entertainment because she is all entertainment. I mean,
Yeah.
she loves entertaining herself. Okay. It's not
Right.
just for the crowd. This is for her, just dancing and moving and smiling. She did, however, wink at the beginning of the floor routine. I went back and I got shots of this. I'll send them to you. But looking right at the camera and the fist up like this in all her power and glory, and then little wink. So I loved that. I was like, okay, Jordan's still there. But then it was all business. Now,
Yeah.
as all business as that floor routine can be,
Yeah.
because it's such a lively, entertaining, just perfect choreography, perfectly suited for Jordan. But her
Mhm.
finish, that position, and her face in that moment, I cried. There, I absolutely just burst into tears seeing her face, what this
Mhm.
moment meant to her. I
Yeah.
mean, you are an Olympic champion
Yeah.
and you're sharing this with special humans in your life that you're going to be bonded with the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And she just set up the stage for her dear friend and teammate, Simone Biles. And the cool thing was because Italy had already clinched their silver medal. And oh my God, I'm so glad we got to see some of the routines. I really
Yeah.
want to see more, but I understand it was all about the US
Yeah.
for that NBC broadcast. And I know that. I'm glad we got to see some because they were amazing. Um,
Mhm.
some beautiful artistry,
Yeah.
both Alicia and Manila. Oh, Manila, how do you? Just gorgeous artistry on their floor exercise routines. So they'd already clinched the silver, already
Yeah.
done. Brazil. Oh
Oh my
my God.
gosh.
Oh my God. The bronze. I mean, history had
Yeah.
already taken place with both Italy. It's been 92 years, right?
Gosh, that's crazy.
For Italy to get back on the podium, 92 years. Just like
Wow.
it's so awesome. Anyways, because that had already happened, and then the stage is just Simone Biles. And she got to just do this incredible floor routine um, to just cap off an amazing team final and extraordinary. I mean, a lot of history
Yeah.
there, a lot of emotion there, and then to see them all come together to congratulate each other, not just Team USA, but then
Oh, yeah. That
Brazil, and it was really cool.
I felt to be honest, I felt like Simone wasn't actually satisfied with her floor routine.
No, I know, but
I
never
know that
totally satisfied.
she's capable of, staying in bounds, but one thing that I don't know if there's a single team out there today, no matter what position they were, you know, either starting in from qualifications where they ended up or what they ended up at the end of the meet, nobody gave up. I
No,
mean, not a single team gave up on
No.
themselves. And I mean, Team USA winning that gold medal was
Yep.
that one gave me chills. I
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
chills when,
Yeah.
and did you notice in the arena you could hear them chanting USA?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. No, I felt like that this was a great audience that loved gymnastics
Yeah.
because, as you said, there were some nerves on beam,
Mhm.
um, fall for Brazil,
Yeah.
first gymnast up, and that the pressure that put on Flavia and Rebecca, obviously. Um, but they managed it. They stayed
Mhm.
on, had
Yes.
some significant breaks, but we had a couple,
Yeah.
significant breaks, saves. I would say saves on beam.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Um, but just the whole feeling,
Mhm.
was it- both men's and women's, and I think I was still on cloud nine for the men,
Yeah.
watching the women for this reason. Men's gymnastics has not gotten the attention, the love, the focus that they should have. We've seen what's happened with NCAA gymnastics on the
Yeah.
men's side, and just whittling away program
Yeah.
after program, losing that. Maybe something good will come out of this. I hope so, because I think the world got to see just how special men's gymnastics is, how oh my god, how hard, how
Yes.
difficult, how outrageously strong, powerful, skillful, fearless men are in the sport of gymnastics. And now we're seeing these great personalities that are really drawing people. I mean, our men's team, the individuals on that, how unique and different they are to one another,
Mhm.
made it that much more special
Oh,
because
absolutely.
they're so endearing,
Mhm.
watching them compete. And then of all the teams, probably men or women.
Oh, yeah. You
They
couldn't
just
not
did.
watch them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't take your when they were on the TV, you were watching, you were dialed in because they're so engaging. Like, they basically, I felt like they were looking at the camera saying like, "Hello, we're over here.
Yeah.
Point the camera over here."
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they just ugh, Team
Yeah.
USA never gives up. I mean, that's just it's in their blood not to give
Right.
up, but I felt like this Olympic Games, especially the men, they made a statement.
Yeah.
I mean,
They
they really made.
showcased the sport in such a beautiful way.
Yeah.
You know, the Chinese and the Japanese teams, their gymnastics is just spectacular.
Yeah.
Um, some of the difficulty, the
Mhm.
fluidity of their movement, the effortlessness that they do, some of the hardest gymnastics. I cannot wait for all around finals and event finals so that we can really talk about the specific gymnastics that were
Yeah.
just breathtaking. And these are gymnasts all around the world that are just doing breathtaking gymnastics. And it's going to be fun to break that down. We're dealing with so much more of the emotional part, the competitive part, spirit
Mhm.
of these Olympic Games, because that was just on full display
Yeah.
here, both men and women's. And we're especially happy for our US men and women because at the same time, both men and women just they went lights out. They
They
did.
did.
They went lights out and they captured the heart of everybody in the world.
That wraps up today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. This is Flipping Out with Bridget Sloan, the Olympic special. I'm your host, Bridget Sloan. Make sure to tune in each week and make sure to like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day. Let's make some good life choices out there and don't forget to be awesome. Bye, guys.